MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by Generational Cruelty.
This episode of MaJaMa Jams is brought to you by the numbers 1 and 2.
Okay, Mateo, but sadly it seems like it's been between skipping last week and that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. Excuse me, let me take a little sip of water first. I'm glad we haven't started filming yet. That was delicious in my throat.
No. No. 1.
There's a joke, make it out. Alright. Listen, this is embarrassing, but it's 1, 2.
No.
2, 1.
Oh my god, man.
MaJaMa. MaJaMa. MaJaMa.
Do you know why they call me Shoulders?
Sure. You got those big shoulders.
No. I keep driving on the shoulders all the time. Right? I got something wacky in my middle ear. I can't keep off the shoulders.
Don't turn me in, Dan. I gotta get my confidence back. If I can just drive down.
Welcome back, everyone, to MaJaMa Jams, a show where we discuss other people's work to avoid doing our own. Now, right off the bat here, I would like to look into the camera and say thank you directly to Paulo for watching every episode. Man, sometimes it gets really depressing when it feels like no one watches, but you know who is and commenting every week? You, big guy. Don't you ever think for a second I don't appreciate the living hell out of it, and I'm grateful for you every second we watch this. Now, moving on. A little bit about today. Today is my buddy, Matteo the Italian Molinari.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday! It might as well be, guys. It might as well be. Because for the entire duration of my beautiful friendship with this man sitting to the right of me, your left, he has wanted one thing. And since we started MaJaMa Jams, he has... So, I think the entire point of Matteo becoming friends with us has all been leading to this. It's all been a ruse to get us to watch...
I planned it before that. I say, I hope we can find 2 friends, possibly brothers, so we can one day...
It's been planned for years.
Yes.
Your whole life, actually.
Yeah.
Even all the way back in Italy on the TV station, you
Yes.
were like, this is step 1, but step 2...
Because in Italy it was called Fantabus.
Fantabus! Want the Fantabus! So.
What's with the hand?
This I'm Italian. Half.
Oh, I see.
It's not a stereotype.
What?
So, guys, today is basically the Make-A-Wish Foundation for Matteo Molinari, because after begging, prodding, pleading, asking, we are finally doing 1978. Six. The Big Bus. And today is another orgy-ass discussion for those of you who love comedic breakdowns.
Happy?
Euphoric!
Because this movie is basically Airplane to a T, kind of without laughs, but not without a language that doesn't work, which is weird. 2 years before?
3.
3? Now, Matteo can't wait to tell you this story. As much as he's usually the one with the back info, man, he's going to get into this because this is a moment in comedy history, and I agree having watched it now. Matthew?
I wasn't there.
I agree having watched it now. He doesn't even know what's going on right now.
All right, now what? Huh? What do you mean?
It's a very interesting story. So we're going to get into it, Matteo. Give us both the little bit of a background and then the quick plot. Plot's pretty straightforward, but give us the background of the timeline of this, because I agree with you.
What's the plot then?
Big bus takes off?
No. What was the plot with the terrorists and the guy in the
Okay, he's going to explain it.
No,
Have
I'm
you not
saying,
seen
I'm
the
saying
show?
you have no idea what happened. I have no idea what happened, so you can't possibly
They have no
understand.
idea what happened.
Hey, what happened?
So this was a movie that generated out of the parody of the disaster movies that in the 70s took off in an amazing way, spectacular way. There was Airport 75, Hindenburg. There was the Towering Inferno. There was the Poseidon Adventure. It was just like huge, big things, and something horrible happened to that big thing, usually trapping people inside.
Almost similar to the superhero boom of the our start of our friendship forward, you know, around when Iron Man kicked off, and all of a sudden everything was...
To a degree was that.
Oh, Thank God.
So that's why the structure of this movie, which is the biggest problem, besides the director.
Bad things happening to big things. That's what Ron Jeremy said when he got chlamydia.
Timing is everything. I know it.
Where is your God now, old woman?
Now, you guys may be asking yourself, why did Matteo Molinari want to do The Big Bus so much? Well, if I have a hankering, it's because around these parts, we like nothing more than a comedic discussion about the evolution of comedic movies. Now, one who would watch this movie may notice a striking similarity to what is one of the most iconic comedies of all time. I'm speaking, of course, about the Zucker-Abrams-Zucker masterpiece, Airplane.
Captain, how soon can you land?
I can't tell.
You can tell me I'm a doctor.
No, I mean, I'm just not sure.
Or can't you take a guess?
Well, not for another 2 hours.
You can't take a guess for another 2 hours?
This came before.
Yep.
How many years?
3.
3 years before.
Isn't it Zucker, like sucker?
I think it's Zucker.
Zucker-Abrams-Zucker.
That's what I said.
Pretty sure.
What did you say?
Zucker.
Yeah.
So, striking similarities to Airplane came before it, did not connect.
No.
Did not.
It was a series of jokes searching for a script.
Okay, so we're going to get into this because I have to admit that he was on point, and I think the discussion is going to be very interesting if you're into such things, because it really is Airplane before Airplane.
You're not in that.
So, Matteo?
Yes.
A little bit of history and the plot, and let's start to get into the airplane that didn't work. Also the subtitle for United 93. Bad joke, not because it's offensive, because the airplane did work and it was hijacked. Horrible comedian. Jokes don't have to be offensive because of the subject matter. It can also be offensive because the comedian has bad mechanics. That joke didn't work at all.
No.
Offensive for the other reasons.
Thank you.
Mateo, shut up. Go ahead.
Okay, so very briefly, the story is a nuclear bus is supposed to take a non-stop trip from New York to Denver, but for some reason a couple of brothers decide to sabotage and discredit the company. They put a bomb on it. The bus, which is filled with very colorful characters, winds up on hanging literally on a cliffhanger. And then everything is resolved, but before going to its final destination, it snaps in half, and the movie ends on that predicament.
See how quick that was? That was beautiful. That was the best synopsis in 74 episodes. So
the movie is the parody of the disaster movie from the 70s. And all these movies were this parade of superstars who were confined in some kind of enclosure. Could be a building, could be a plane, could be
fish tank.
A fish tank.
Could be the cage of cultural manhood.
Whatever. And some catastrophic event would happen, a fire, an explosion, the plane, whatever.
Unplanned bowel movement.
And yes, and as it happened recently on a flight, that the diarrhea came out of the toilets and they had to evacuate the plane, and somebody would save the day despite the disaster happening.
Oh my God!
I love this idea. Here we go.
Dan, I think you missed.
What's he doing?
I don't know, but he missed.
Hey, Dan, you missed.
He missed.
I know I missed. Does somebody else want to try? You think this is easy? I'm hanging out over a cliff, for Christ's sakes. Gimme. Oh. People panic so easily.
This movie has the two biggest flaws of the three, if you will. And we'll talk about that in a moment. But the main problems were that there is not really a coherent story, and there is a director who is mostly a TV director, and it kind of like shows. It lacks the breadth, the cinematographic breadth of a movie.
I have two questions.
Sure.
What is that phrase? When you just start off with something, I have two questions. Right off the bird. So, did you want to watch this because you like it or for the discussion? And also, at the time this at the time this came out, was it a weird concept to have a bus go that far? Because it seems like, doesn't Greyhound do that every day of the...
Yeah, well, it was
direct.
The opening, opening crawl, not crawl, just the opening writing. It says,
there have been movies about big earthquakes. There have been movies about big boats sinking. Movies about big buildings burning. Movies about big German balloons bursting. And now, a movie about the Big Bus.
Which, by the way, in Italian, since the movie came out as Fantabus, it didn't make any sense.
What does it mean?
The fantastic bus, pretty much. And so it says, oh, you've seen a big building, big blimps, big ships, big stuff,
Oh.
And now Fantabus.
Did they change the opening paragraph to
Nope. They left big.
Why?
I don't know, because they're very stupid.
I guess the rumors are true.
We now return to MaJaMa.
What'll it be, sir? What difference does it make? I've only got 6 months to live.
Hey, 6 months to live. That's all they'll give him. 6 months to live. Not much time to live, and he may see summer, but he won't see fall. So forget about Christmas. Thank you.
So, the main reason that Airplane succeeds and this one fails is that, aside from steady directing and such, but it was that Airplane was based on the movie 0 Hour, which had a structure on its own. So Abraham Zucker purchased that script, or the rights to that script, and they couldn't possibly be bothered on the story because they knew that the story would work. The story is exactly, if you watch 0 Hour, is a serious version of Airplane.
Doctor, I've asked everyone. Mr. Stryker's the only one.
What flying experience have you had?
Well, I was a fighter pilot in the war, but I flew little combat planes with only one engine. This has 4. There's no comparison. The flying characteristics are completely different. It's a different kind of flying altogether.
Doctor, I've checked everyone. Mr. Stryker's the only one.
What flying experience have you had?
Oh, I flew single-engine fighters in the Air Force, but this plane has 4 engines. It's an entirely different kind of flying, altogether.
It's an entirely different kind of flying.
But that was the one about the kids that shoot up the high school.
I'm sorry?
It is.
Oh.
I brought it over for my pile.
All right.
0 Hour.
All right, calm down.
Oh,
0 day.
0 day, yeah. That's another thing. So they had that structure, and they were hanging like on a Christmas tree the jokes. This one is lacking that. It doesn't have a coherent structure for the story. It has too many characters. It can't juggle them, all of them, very well, and
yes,
and it has some jokes that are actually funny on their own.
Yeah.
No. Here's what I have to say. First thing,
go ahead.
because comedy is a language, and we talk a lot about how when you get the tone right, you can do anything. So what I find so confusing about this, it's almost like a science artifact, me watching it, because I think their comedic language is on point.
You're looking great, kid.
So am I.
Me too.
I think their jokes are literally all funny.
Watch it, he's got a broken milk carton!
And I may contradict myself by putting it this way, but I didn't. There was like dead silence in the room except for a couple. Except for a couple. Except for a couple.
Santo Antonio, Santo Francisco.
But at the same time, I think their language and tone is on point, and I think the jokes are funny. So that's why I was like, what the hell is happening?
Hey, what happened?
Okay, so all the way back in my NYC comedy days, I remember one of the guys getting up and he's like, you know what? I don't like comedians because when you say something funny, they won't laugh. They'll go, that's funny. It's like, dude, laugh. I couldn't help think of that here because I was throughout the entire movie, I was like, that's funny.
No wonder Father never had any faith in you. He never gave me a chance, did he? He gave you everything, didn't he? You got the skates, you got that sled, he even gave you the iron lung. You got the iron lung, not me.
That's because I was the one who was sick.
But the room was dead. All three of us were kind of dead silent. We had a couple like, I think the priest. You want to hear something about God? Got the biggest.
Santo Antonio, Santo Francisco.
That's the sound we used to make when we would
cue things.
Yes, but also when we would talk about taking mom's earrings and stab them underneath your foot. You go.
Santo Antonio, Santo Francisco.
Was it a hobby of yours?
We did a lot. Yeah.
Of stabbing yourself with...
No, I mean...
Just imitating the sound.
Oh, okay.
But this is why I thought the movie was so fascinating, because it seems like you did get the tone right. You do know how to do comedy. Your jokes are funny.
You have
and yet
funny people.
You have
who are
funny
you talking
people.
to?
You have good deliveries, and yet stone-faced throughout. And it's this weird effect of being like, yeah, that's funny. No, I'm not laughing at all. And that's why, to me, this was like a frigging science artifact. Like, look at this movie that got it right, that knows how to be funny, that is not.
All right, Pop. If you want Dan, I'll get you Dan.
Thank you. Thank you, Kitty.
Pop?
It's all right. He's just faking.
Oh, thank God.
I think to Airplane's credit too, an airplane and a flight gone wrong is something that's very easily gettable. Where this is like, okay, we need to introduce a big bus that's running on nuclear power. There's some people trying to sabotage it. There's a bomb. There's this other element too where you kind of need to understand. No, why do I have to stop? Why do I have to stop? You hold on.
Because
and you still continue.
Airplane is painfully hilarious.
Yes.
Painfully hilarious. One of the funniest movies of all time. You can't help but guffaw. Why did... just forget about the plot for a second. You can have a movie with rapid-fire jokes where, granted, yes, more often than not, rapid-fire jokes without a plot, we learn the lesson that is needed. That's true. But how come none of these funny jokes, funny situations, funny people, how come none of them provoke laughter? You can't... I don't know if you can entirely say the plot. It's a good point. And
What's the answer?
It's amazing. It's amazing to know that Airplane is just literally a bought movie with Christmas tree jokes hung on it. But there's no laughter.
No,
Airplane is painfully hilarious.
It's a question of rhythm. If you don't have a story that allows you to pepper it in the right way, and if you don't have a director who can actually enhance jokes in a good... For instance, one of the jokes that I've always liked, at least on paper, because it works, because of editing, is...
When we finished up tonight, I didn't just lock up the lamp. I left the lights on.
You mean they'll think someone's still working?
Right. Yes. It just might work. Anybody working in here?
Wait, where is that from?
The movie that we just watched.
It's the perfect example, because when you're explaining it to me, I'm like, yes, it's great. If they leave the lights on and think no one's working, cut to a guy, I remember, and he says, is no one working? Like, that's what I'm saying. That is the mechanics of someone that understands. Why does it not work?
It's the equivalent, and I remember, and I was genuinely puzzled by how it were the same joke, or the same structure of a joke. There is in Look Who's Talking, Kirstie Alley checks, I think, her pregnancy test.
No. No.
Yes.
Oh, no.
I take it this wasn't a planned pregnancy.
And I remember in the theater, people laughed. It's not a joke. You say no.
The rhythm.
Yes, but it's the rhythm. And the same in To Be or Not to Be with Mel Brooks. There are several jokes of...
Wait a minute. Now, look, Seletsky and Earhart have never met. If we could find somebody to play Colonel Earhart.
A good actor.
A great actor.
A dead actor. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Look at me. I'll never get away with this. Who's gonna believe I'm Colonel Earhart?
That's what I'm saying. There's nothing more exciting when you want to do this than discovering you can hear the language. So, like, I love the editing sessions we do, or like when you guys, like, if we'll just shoot raw footage on the couch and then you're like, well, let's cut this up for skits. Both of you guys know that if you cut at a certain point, you can kind of make a joke out of something that wasn't otherwise. Like when we filmed like 10 minutes on the couch, we cut it up for skits, you would always know, let's cut here. That cut is enough to indicate there's a rhythm and a flow. It's really exciting when, like you said, with the Mel thing, you start to, in the editing, like, no, ba, 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 1, 2, 3. You see the language. It's odd that it seems like these people know their structure.
Yeah.
And I don't know if, like you said, if it's the way the movie is, like, okay, like you said, someone's working in here, no, click off, or like cut to the piano player who makes a quip, and then the way they cut, it doesn't seem to me like the comedy language is off.
Right, yeah.
If this would be a garden variety movie to break down, if it seemed like the language was off, but I spent the whole 90 minutes. And by the way, I don't know if this is indicative of what he's talking about with the lack of 86, yes. But
that's insane.
It felt like it was excruciating, and I was like, is it tough for you to sit through also, even though you love it? Okay, so it's not just me. This was excruciating. It felt like 3.5 hours, and the end piece felt like it dragged.
Yes. In his defense, I have to say that, because there is also this to consider. For 1976. This was a rapid fire.
Same thing with Police Academy going for it, and we watch it now like, no.
Yeah.
Someone call a veterinarian!
We now return to MaJaMa.
We believe that Cyclops has truly broken the recreational barrier. Watch your feet.
Right this way, folks.
One of the things that I remember that the Zucker said, and then remind me to tell you a funny thing about the Zucker.
Hey, tell us a funny thing about the Zucker.
Later.
Remind him again. He's going to tell us.
I already forgot what he asked for.
Yes. But Zucker said, we did Airplane, huge success. The next movie that we did, it was Top Secret. And he said, we got cocky because we were saying, oh, we can crank one of these every year. And Top Secret is one of the funniest movies ever made, ever commit to celluloid.
But I just want to say that...
I'm not the first guy who fell in love with a girl he met in a restaurant who then turned out to be the daughter of a kidnapped scientist, only to lose her to a childhood lover who she'd last seen on a deserted island and who turned out 15 years later to be the leader of the French underground.
I know. It all sounds like some bad movie.
But it doesn't have a story. It's just like a sequence of jokes. And they say, we realize at the end that Top Secret didn't do as well as Airplane because people were confused. And even the distributors were confused. They didn't really know how to market a movie that didn't really have a story that you can tell cohesively, coherently, whatever. And so...
Well, they should have talked to the people that marketed poorly plotted movie. They should have talked to the people that marketed episode 1.
Think of a movie, and I'll edit out all this part, so it will be just like talking about rhythm. You say, think of people saying...
They should have talked to the people that...
Unsolved Mysteries.
What?
They're open. You don't have an ending, so you're upset every time.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but well, it's unsolved.
Exactly.
So,
it's a
yes.
cliffhanger. Every
Thanks for spending an hour with us. This girl's still dead. Go to sleep.
I mean, we don't know if she's dead. I definitely don't know.
Either you know this or you don't.
Look, what do you want from me? I've been up for 4 nights with this stuff.
Look, for instance, the gag of the man who has to remain on the runway.
Can you give us an example?
The man who has to remain on the runway.
Yes.
Through the rain, they've set up camps blowing away.
That's great.
Yeah.
I laughed every time.
I didn't.
Take a look at this. The explosion blew it right across the room. It's probably a St. Christopher's medal. It's lodged dangerously close to the left ventricle.
Then we've got to get him to a hospital.
I told you he can't be moved.
Well, what are we going to do?
Sign this.
What is it?
It relieves me of all responsibility for any medical judgments, observations, tests, or procedures.
But you're a doctor.
Yes, and I intend to remain one.
It's fantastic. It's a great visual setup with a plum and the absurdity if he gets blown away and they're covering under the same blanket. It's great.
Doctor, I hate to be a bother, but if you have a bigger umbrella, I could catch cold. I don't care if you get pneumonia. I told you can't be moved.
And I look at it and I think it's great and I see the craft and I see the language.
I like when he steps on him with his foot. It's like, no, I told you can't move.
Maybe I better take a look at that reactor myself. I told you can't be moved.
I don't laugh.
Well,
but I don't think it's unfunny. It's such a weird effect.
I think that by that point you already gave up.
That's like 5 minutes in.
I know, but you know,
but
you know your brother.
I see the craft of you sculpting a visual scene of the absurdity of the doctor hours later stays on the runway. It's raining. They have to cuddle in the same bed. I love it. It's like you see a beautiful woman that you think is gorgeous and she's like, do you want to have sexual intercourse? And you're like, no, I don't. You walk away. That's what this movie is.
I love you, Claude.
I love you so.
You know, a bucket of cold water works every time.
Why are you asking me what I'm doing?
It was more.
Yeah.
Wait, there is more.
But wait, there's more.
That's his sitcom coming out this fall.
But wait, there's more.
Where were we? So why do I love the mechanics and craft of the runway scene, and I'm not laughing? That is the mystery of the big bus, is that it is not some It's not that. It's not that where you're like, oh, look at your dead limp dick language. I'm like, oh, I see people that know how to do. It's one of the most perplexing experiences I've had to not think that the comedic language is off and yet spend 86 minutes not laughing. What is this alchemy? This is why you picked this movie.
Yes.
Why?
That lady looks weird.
Which one?
Patricia Arquette.
Holt. What's her name? The lady in the lead lady.
Sandy Taylor.
Stoker Channing.
This is indeed a proud day for all of us.
What?
Her name is Stoker Channing.
Stoker?
Stockard.
Oh.
She's in Greece. She's Rizzo in Greece.
Well, here we are again.
Yeah, but this time we're seniors.
And we're gonna rule the school.
She plays a high school student.
Here's a question. Are teenagers just, you don't work as much, you have to pay more? Because why does everyone immediately go to 30 years old for high school students? What is the reason? It's always been a thing.
You shell out dollars every day for them.
Yeah.
Online.
I have pictures.
On those websites.
Another problem of this movie. It's just. Another thing is that the movie is in desperate need of an editing pass, to make it more tight. And also, it's possible, not 100% sure, but it's possible that had Julia Phillips, the producer, allegedly not do 1 kilo of cocaine every day, probably would have been better. Because she wound up producing movies like Taxi Driver, The Sting, Close Encounters, so she's no slouch.
I mean, you're just sitting there behind a desk all day. What else are you going to do?
True.
Once the movie starts, you're not really doing anything.
How's the movie going? It's fine. Okay, sorry. Hey, how's the movie
even
going?
have a
I
phone.
told you it was fine. Sorry. Hey, how's the movie going? Yeah, it was fine. This is my hand. This is just my hand. It's okay. It feels good to do this. It feels good to do this. It feels good to do this. How's the movie going? Sometimes no one's in here.
So there is also that. And of course, she is talking crap about the director in her biography. You'll never eat lunch in this town.
Oh, that's
again.
her?
Yeah.
Well.
Whom I believe, as of this taping, she's dead. I'm not sure about tomorrow, but...
The coke? The cocaine?
I think that her body at a certain point gave up. Something like that.
Well, you said it was interesting that just a scant couple years later, audiences were ready to embrace this type of thing. How much of that effect do you think was the inevitable timing that bolsters success for people, and how much of that do you think is, like you said, the Abrams team found an actual story to hang it on? How much of that success, when again this was so well, let me proceed.
Give us a percentage.
How bad did this flop?
Bad,
like tanked
bad,
horribly.
Yeah, yes.
So, do you think the similar type being, because airplane exploded? It was what it was when it dropped.
Yes.
So how much of that do you think is what you said with finding the mechanics to give the audience a story, and how much do you think is that there's always like timing, like, oh, audiences, because I also find it interesting, you always pitch that as it's fascinating how audiences maybe weren't ready for this, and then a couple years later Airplane took off. What is your breakdown of timing versus finding the right mechanics?
It's because if you're watching, for instance, Woody Allen's Bananas, which came in 1972, which has absurd humor.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I've known Fielding Mellish for years, and he's a warm, wonderful human being.
Would the clerk read that statement back, please?
I've known Fielding Mellish for years, and he is a rotten, conniving, dishonest little rat.
Okay, I just want to make sure you were getting it.
This one, it's still plausible. They're not...
Practical effects are great.
Practical effects is fantastic, and we'll talk about that in a second. But like in Naked Gun, you have some jokes that are clearly absurd. Or even in Airplane, the heart jumping on the desk, or the Air Arabs, which is the plane with the beard. So there are something that go definitely in the absurd. This one, everything that happens is plausible.
A lot of A's, not plausible.
Kind of like in Bananas, which was 4 years before. And
I thought there was a certain something to the soda trapment scene.
Yes. There's 1,500 gallons of soft drinks behind us. You understand? We can pump it back into the kitchen.
Dan, that'll rupture the dispensers back there.
No problem. We'll airlock. Airlocked. All right, commence pumping.
Nesbitt's orange.
Nesbitt's orange.
We've seen that scene a lot with water, and the simple twist to soda, as dumb as it sounds, made it kind of...
Fresca? Fresca.
Coca-Cola. Roger. Coca-Cola.
But I have to say, since Joseph Bologna...
Joey Bologna,
who I have to say, should do the Lady in Red on this channel, and I think... Woman in Red. And even not finding him funny in this, I was like, this is a funny guy, I want to see more of him.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Wonderful. Teddy, you're my friend, and I love you. You're a sweet, sensitive guy, but you're very naive. To think that my Saint Teresa would fool around? Could you imagine this? Do you believe this man asking whether my Teresa would fool around?
I find it hard to imagine your wife is sleeping with you.
Teddy!
We now return to MaJaMa.
Forgive me, Kitty. Forgive me for leaving you at the church. Forgive me for cheating on you with that car hop. With that switchboard operator. With that drum majorette. I lied about them all, Kitty. Your best friend, Toby. Your cousin, Brenda. Your cousin, Charlotte. Your good-looking aunt. What's her name?
Dan, turn off your intercom. You're killing me.
Oh, shit.
My question is, especially since we spend about 16 hours at the end of the movie with them trapped on the bus.
Because that's the actual disaster of the movie.
Yes.
It should have been
5 hours earlier.
Way before.
Wait. Hold on. Hold on. My question is, if he literally says, I gotta save Rizzo, I pop out the top, how come everyone doesn't just pop out the top and walk? But they're even walking in the direction they have to tip the bus. They don't have to walk that way. So at a certain point, I was like, why are we spending 20 minutes on this disaster when this dude literally filmed him popping up and walking away?
Yes.
That to me was the biggest transgression, because it's like
and that's why it's important having a script that makes sense even before having jokes. because that is a part that doesn't make absolutely no sense. Like the fact that it doesn't look like that there is a door to leave that bus. At least in the Towering Inferno, they're trapped on a floor. There is a fire underneath it. In the Poseidon Adventure, the boat is capsized. They have to climb it back up on the opposite side. So there is an impossibility for you to be locked or at least a prisoner in one confined space. Here, it's never said, could have been a line before, once we lock the doors, there is no way in hell to unlock them unless the bus is completely still or whatever. So something like that. They would just justify that, preventing the scene on the roof. So they should have done a different passage. Instead of going on the roof, we should have gone through a vent or something.
I'll tell you something, I hate that stupid bus.
Those are all the...
Or simply just have everyone walk to the back of the bus.
Or yes.
Well, that was the other thing. I was like, why? That's basic disaster movie with a balance. Why are they all sitting in their seats? Go to the back of the bus. It's really stupid as hell.
Yes, exactly.
Well, it's not
We're
real.
locked on the floor and there's a fire underneath us. Isn't that the name of a Fall Out Boy song?
Locked on the floor.
He said it 10 minutes ago. So
today is a timing palooza. It's just like...
So why is this movie...
Wait.
Yeah.
You guys are saying that the teetering off the edge is the...
disaster.
That should be the disaster.
That's a finale.
Yeah, but usually...
There's no disaster before then.
You have the bomb.
Oh, why do they want to blow up? We didn't even get into that.
We'll destroy the bus. Anybody can destroy the bus. Our job is to discredit it forever. But
why do they want to blow up the bus?
That's just like these two brothers who want to discredit everything. He says
the Iron Lung.
That's why grandfather
should be up here.
Destroyed the Titanic.
The Iron Lung gag should be the pinnacle of comedy, but you don't laugh. This is our artifact. Put this in the vault. That's a funny joke. It's a visually funny thing. He's got the mirror so you can see his head. He's a woman in there with him.
That's how they have to live, man. That's not a joke. How's he going to see?
the public didn't get suspicious when grandfather sank the Titanic.
I don't understand this movie.
So they don't explain their motives other than...
No, they were just like to discredit other...
Was the man wearing a turban as a... Or not a turban,
Well, he's in different disguises throughout the movie. He is his brother, who is the pretty much the guy in the... Man, I hate how many times I say pretty much. You have no idea how many times
See?
I cut it.
Now you know what it's like. But you emphasize my right off the bats.
Yes.
To mock me.
Yes.
Okay.
And the Man in the Iron Lung which is called briefly
Iron Man. Iron Man.
Which I thought it was.
Should be funny. It is funny. But I don't laugh.
He is the brain, and his brother is the one that I like is the...
Alex, at what time is the bomb set to go off?
At precisely the time you'll be having your supper.
I've already had my supper. Did I miss supper again? God damn it.
Is there an example of this type of we didn't find the story to hang it on and we went joke, joke, joke? Is there an example of that we like?
There probably is. Let's take 10 minutes to think about it.
6 hours later.
There's got to be a time when it was like, okay, you don't have a story to hang these on, but the things are still funny, so we like it. That has to have happened, right? Like this effect, but funny? I can't think of it, though.
I was just saying Top Secret.
Okay, I remember loving it. I'd like to see it again to fully comment on the lack of a story, because I remember...
Of course, you need another example.
Well...
8 hours later.
I think it's similar because, like I said, when you brought up Top Secret, the first thing that jumped to my mind was the underwater fight, which is the pinnacle of craft. Comedy or not is the pinnacle of craft. So to me, the Zaz boys seem like they're really about the craft of comedy. Absolutely.
Yes.
The mechanics of it. So I guess that probably is a good example. I just don't remember the lack of a story as much. I remember loving Top Secret, though.
Yeah. Do you remember the story?
It's a basic spy parody, right?
There you go.
Oh, what's your name? Nick. Oh, nice name. Thanks. My dad thought of it while shaving.
Yes.
See, I remember things. I don't know. It's weird.
Also, thank you for reminding me of Zucker Abrams.
Yeah.
At the legend has it.
Both of you need to stop talking, especially to each other.
We'll just cut him out of this.
Legend has it that they actually did a pass for jokes in this movie. It's never been confirmed.
I'm sorry, meaning to punch it up?
To find jokes.
For script.
Yes. And one of the clues that it might have happened is that at the beginning there is a car that pulls into the parking lot of a TV station, and the TV station is WZAZ.
Saying the boys came in for punch-up, possibly?
I think that they were, or they simply told them to say write jokes.
That would actually make a lot of sense, because again,
they're
jokes to me feel like someone that knows jokes. It's
Yes.
just so weird because they don't translate, which again
Because
feels like a massive lesson.
If you say somebody, you're not gonna read the script, but we need a joke to do a fight in a bar.
Watch it, he's got a broken milk carton. All right. Huh? One of you wants to be first, huh? Come on. Get going, Dan. Come on, you heard me. Get going. Thanks, kid. I won't forget this.
Watch it, he's got a broken candle!
Which is funny, even if it doesn't have an ending, but it's
That's
funny.
very funny.
So, I am leaning to think that yes, they made something.
Never confirmed.
Never confirmed.
Rumors persist.
Not even in the audio commentary, which I was hoping for them to shed some light to it. Instead,
Did this
no.
find a cult following?
Yes, ish, yeah.
Nothing can stop your father's gas.
Very cute, Claude.
You're telling me the old guy who keeps breaking up with his wife and getting back together is neither the...
That's got to be Sandler's dude.
Is Richard Mulligan.
Yeah.
Matthew, phone?
Who was in the sitcom...
Do you have your phone?
I don't. I always leave it over there because I want to focus on the show. I know you don't
The
care about the show, so
The
you leave it.
sitcom Soap with Billy Crystal.
Oh, what a beautiful morning. Hi, big brother. Hiya, little brother.
Why don't you offer him some Fruit Loops? It'd be very appropriate.
Listen, you animal. I told you before, my brother is not the fruit. He's a practical joker with a wonderful sense of humor.
Yes.
Yes.
He was
Why do either of
Well,
us...
Matthew looks up Richard Mulligan being in The Water Boy.
No, he was already dead by then.
Not so sure, Mateo. Not so sure. Not so sure, Mateo. Not so sure. Not so sure, Mateo. Not so sure. Not so sure because I was actually right about Harry Holcomb.
But Joseph, dating isn't the answer either.
I don't know what I want to do anymore, but I know I want to do it.
We all want to do it, but we must think of God.
After examining photographs of Godzilla taken by the ICS, I tend to classify him as a prehistoric species of dinosaur, possibly a cross between the gigantic Tyrannosaurus rex and the Stegosaurus.
I never forget a King Kong versus Godzilla face.
And René Aujuberdois, or whatever, however you pronounce his last name, and forgive me, he is in King Kong by Dino De Laurentiis.
Fred, look down there. Take your binoculars.
What?
Down there, that pool. You think it could be?
Coincidence? Yes.
What?
Renee Bolsack was in King Kong by Laurentiis?
Yes.
Was Richard Mulligan in The Waterboy?
Shut up, man. What do you think I'm looking at
It's
right
like
now?
Vicki Lawrence all over again. It takes you 5 seconds. Richard Mulligan,
How do you do
Waterboy,
it?
said.
How do you do
Richard
it?
Mulligan.
He wasn't.
He wasn't?
No.
God, they look alike.
When did he...
Wait, what's the movie?
The Waterboy.
He's not in it.
What is he in?
Movies.
Teachers with Ralph Macchio.
Yes. Teachers. Mickey and Maude doing apostrophe time.
Who's the guy
Heavenly
in The
Kid.
Waterboy?
That's Roger Predactor.
It's the other guy who's always in all the... He played Drew Barrymore's dad in 50 First Dates.
Let me ask you something. What's in it for you? What do you get out of this? I don't know.
I wish that every kiss was now.
But wouldn't you want to spend an hour a day with that?
Actually, no. If you think like shit. What?
He's a Sandler regular.
Yeah.
But he's not this guy.
Blake Clark.
Blake Clark.
Let me see.
I knew it.
The face? I want to see the faces side by side.
So then is Blake
I want to see
Clark,
the faces side by
is
side.
Blake Clark the guy from Scrooged?
No, that's...
Okay.
No, that's
enough.
He's the face is completely different. He's not remembering that,
Scrooge
right?
is,
Who's not remembering what, right?
Blake Clark looks nothing like the guy you're talking about. The Boston
Of
Scrooge?
course he does.
The Boston Scrooge?
Yes, the Boston
no,
Scrooge.
No, it's Robert Loggia.
It's Robert Mitchum in
Mitchum.
Scrooge.
Now, I have here a study from Hampstead University which shows us that cats and dogs are beginning to watch television. Now, if these scientists are right, we should start programming right now. Within 20 years, they could become steady viewers.
Programming for cats.
Walk with me, Frank.
You guys watch Joe Don Baker movies?
Sometimes.
All right, hold on.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
They seem like they have...
Robert Mitchum. Wait, that's what you said.
Exactly the same
Hold
facial
on.
structure.
Yeah.
Yeah, but also because Richard Mulligan, I think that he died in the early 90s or something like that.
I heard that he sent a lot of people off on quests just
You
so
took
that
a
the
photo
plot
of your
could...
brother's knee.
No, thank you.
Well, you just
I'm
did.
snapping a
I
screenshot.
heard... I heard Richard Mulligan sent a lot of people...
Shut up, man. God, just shut up.
At the last minute?
No, I actually... Okay, so there was something, but my brain went to MacGuffin. What is it, Mulligan? MacGuffin is something that moved plot
Yeah,
devices.
it's a retrieval. You have a, sort of an extra shot or something like that, I think. I don't know. I'm Italian. What the
Carrie
hell?
Mulligan? What are you taking pictures of?
I'm taking pictures of Brian...
Robert Mitchum.
Robert Mitchum and Blake Clark and...
Richard Mulligan.
Richard Mulligan. You can go about your business.
This is
I'm on my phone.
Riveting material.
Jesus, I'm sorry I asked.
We now return to MaJaMa.
All right, is there an automotive mechanic in here?
I used to repair clocks.
Good. Go up to the pickup truck, get the motor started.
I love you, Claude.
Okay, now listen up. Is there somebody in here who can tie strong knots?
I used to work for the post office.
That'll do.
I can sing and dance.
Terrific. Dance into the chapel and get the candelabra.
We have to say this. They actually built the bus. Everything is practical.
And it looks
even
glorious,
if
glorious.
yes, even if the bus itself had only practical let's say the cockpit, the lounge, what's called the Oriental Lounge.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing. Though, okay, check it out. I'm sorry you guys can't see this, but look, Matthew's out of his mind. That dude, nothing like it.
What are you talking
Those guys,
about?
twins,
I heard that
nothing. Twins, nothing.
Hold on,
What do you mean
let me
nothing?
see.
The nose, the
No,
eyes?
No, look. Twins.
So I was saying, the bus has been built for real, but it was two halves, both with drivers, and it was hollow except for the lounge and the cockpit, and it could actually shoot the tire.
Commence your test of the automatic tire changer.
Roger. Jettison number 4.
And there were the all the interiors were on a soundstage, but it was
The fact that they drove it on some of those streets in the mountains, too, was
yes,
crazy.
which was here in California, by the way.
I was going to ask, it looked like things we've seen. Two halves, both with drivers. Sounds like the time they split that guy in half and had him date Adam and Minnie. I saw the edge of the mouth. He tried to hide it, but I saw it. It went like this. Slight. I saw it. It's on film. You can play it back. You get close up. It was just enough to justify what I said.
Nothing is enough to justify anything you say.
So, the bus was entirely practical.
But the fact that you have a big thing like that
Was he
being that was not me.
Oh.
Unless they're coming in spurts.
Hey.
The fact that you have
a big story for you
a
right here.
big bus like that driving through those streets, pretty crazy.
I don't get it. I don't get it. It's a fascinating thing. It seems like they had it right. They knew how to do jokes. It seems like they had verve and aplomb and craft, and it just no. Silent room for MaJaMa today.
I wish I had a plum.
The biggest joke? You probably want to hear something about God.
Father Kudos, would you say the benediction?
Well, I suppose you want something about God.
No, he was very funny throughout the entire thing.
Got us all to...
No, that's the thing. It looks like that they didn't give actual directions to the actors, and everybody was just like doing his or her thing without...
Ghostbusters, 2016.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just let it go, let it rip, and there's no story, and you're like, these people are funny, this should...
There will be mostly sunny weather, with a high of 27 degrees Celsius and a low of 11 degrees.
We're not even going to be alive tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. But yes, it's Ghostbusters 2016, and probably there are tons and tons of.
But this is scripted. You don't think most of that?
I imagine so. Yes.
Okay, are we... Like, how the hell do you do that big of a movie and just be like, just put up chunks of improv?
This is also
Ghostbusters had to have a script, right?
Yeah.
I think that Ghostbusters had a script with areas, sections where just they let the actors.
It was one page, just list the locations.
Yes.
Just fill in the blanks to get to each spot.
Yes.
Well, we turn this bus around the final stop. Is there more?
There's
not really.
I mean, we could do a character drive, but there's like 20, so we'll be here forever. Let's express our feelings by throwing pieces of paper.
Over there, where is our basket?
I can see it from here.
All the time.
Yes.
It's always been there.
Never moves.
Nope.
Even to empty it, we take out each piece of paper individually and put it into a bag
Yes.
versus dumping the whole thing out.
Yes.
For integrity's sake.
I actually have no idea how to grade this one.
You say that every time.
But I don't this time.
What?
I don't feel that every time. You go, Matthew. Things are easy for you. You just dismiss everything.
I don't dismiss anything. I have to suffer through all of this.
Here is my imitation of Matthew finding out that Bill Watterson, his idol, thinks that Bad CGI Sharks is a godly movie. Oh. That's you.
Was that me or that was you?
That was me
That
ending the
finishing
scene.
the performance. Okay. I'm going to vote. One is bad.
No, one is
good.
74 episodes in, we still haven't figured that one out.
Here's Matthew getting a big banana split on his birthday. Oh.
A big banana split?
It's not a euphemism.
I don't know.
It's tough, right? You made fun of me, but it's tough.
I'm going to go 3.5. This looks like a half.
Seems pretty on point.
It was funny. It genuinely made me laugh. There were,
It
yeah, I laughed out loud a few times. Just wasn't all...
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Together.
It's just like hearing a comedy festival with different comedians telling several jokes, and you just laugh here and here and here and here. But if you have to tell what is going on,
just a guy on stage talking.
Yeah. So, yeah, I go with 3 because this movie personally personally has
this is the best day of your life.
Along beside that, I remember seeing the trailer in 1976.
Trailer, I thought it was a bus.
I was trying to.
You really are at this point, yeah. Cerebral death completely for it. I saw the trailer.
The so-called cerebral death.
Tutto in questa testa piccola, cosiddetta cassaforte cerebrale. Io
ragioniere.
And I was genuinely curious about this movie.
That's why we're here.
Back in Italy when it was called Fantabus.
Fantabus.
It never came out in theaters. I only saw the trailer, and they never put it on in the theaters.
What?
I don't know. Oh. And I was devastated, relatively speaking. But it's
didn't talk for a full year.
Yes. But you know what?
Why won't the Matteo speak?
When
it's a damn Phantom Bus trailer.
Doctor, please, the Phantom Bus trailer has corrupted my child's mind. Did I vote?
No. But
what were you saying?
I wanted to watch this movie so badly, and finally I saw it on television, and I recorded it. No, and I kept on watching it because I was saying, oh my God, this must be funny, and it was kind of like, but it was in Italian and the dubbing was terrible. So eventually, when I found it here, I was really happy about it, and then I watched it and I say, oh.
It's the roller coaster of.
But yes, it's very strange. It's one of those holy grail.
You people at home don't understand how mythical Matteo has made this movie by mentioning it endlessly.
Vote.
Right. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to echo Matthew. 1, 2, 3.
What did you vote?
3. And I'm going to do the half because I want to recognize that this movie is special because I feel like it does no comedy, and yet I didn't laugh. And I think
it does no comedy or it does no comedy?
Nkow. That's how you spell no, right? 3.5 because I'm fascinated by this weird artifact of comedy that does seem to know its language and yet had me sitting mostly in silence.
This is when you go to ChatGPT and say, make me a spoof movie, and it gives you this.
You know?
Kind of just regurgitates.
You know, he's right because it really is just like a joke without the structure.
MaJaMa. I suppose you want something about God.
MaJaMa. I'd like to give a quick shout out to the guy in line at the hot dog stand at the beginning. And he goes and grabs all the hot dogs and buns, and the second he sees the cops driving up, he just tosses them and runs.
Cyclops!
Case in point, this movie knows comedy. I don't know why I was silent-faced. Guys, check it out if you're a comedy nerd. There's no one watching this but Apollo, so I might as well be speaking to you. But check it out if you're a comedy nerd and you want to break down and find out why it's so weird and funny.
Your mom gave up on us?
All right, Mom.
Technically, I think she's been zoned out since the 20s.
Yeah, okay. The 20th episode?
Yeah. The cannabis episode broke her. The cannabis episode really broke her.
All of us.
At the end of it, she was really like, okay, Jason, Jesus, what you doing with your life? So, guys, thank you for being here for Matteo Molinari's Make-A-Wish Day. We finally did it. We did the big bus on the show. Which
can we just die now?
There's really nothing else to do for Matteo.
Well, if I make a wish, yes, I will soon.
That's not fair, man. I'm going with you.
Okay.
I'll take it. That's my wish. To get your disease and die.
MaJaMa.
He's smart, and yes, he's short. He's my contort, and he's no escort. But wait, there's more, no sports. He lives in a fort, and when he laughs, he snort.
What shenanigans is Mort up to this time?
Tonight's episode, the head of cabbage with leptospirosis and the unnecessary bass player.